Okay,
Recording has started.
all right.
Should I
Okay.
proceed?
What's that?
Should I proceed, or does the board
No,
have?
we gotta get, we have a few things to
Okay.
do before we get going.
Sure.
Okay, I'm Wayne Miller, board member.
Amy Rivera, board member.
Ted Agus, board member.
Brad McSherry, Board Counsel.
Deborah Richardson, Boards Administration.
Philip Motto, Boards Administration.
Jay Scoria, Department of License and Inspections.
Okay, anybody for 4408 Lancaster Avenue is gonna testify in this case, please raise your right hand, and I'm gonna do you individually. Please raise your right hand, swear to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth.
Yes.
Yes.
State your name.
Thomas Rybakowski, Rybakowski, City of Philadelphia, License and Inspections.
Okay, the next guy, it's gonna be from the appellant. I guess the lawyer or the architect, whatever.
Yes, I'm Brandon Saverin, and yes, I swear to tell the truth.
Okay, swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth.
I do.
Respond. Okay, next guy.
Rob
Bottom.
Robertson, one of the owners.
Okay, Rob,
I swear to
swear
tell
to
the
tell the
truth.
truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth.
Yes, sir.
Okay, next guy.
Aaron Cohen, the general contractor, swear to tell the
Okay,
truth.
Aaron, you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth. Respond.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, next guy.
Brian Cohen, here with the general contractor firm.
Okay, Brian, you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth.
Firm, yes.
Okay, anybody else?
Trevor Henry, who's our engineer, and now I also see we have Kenneth Johnson, who's our architect.
Okay, Trevor, you here?
He stepped away. I'll do next.
Okay,
Kenneth Johnson,
go ahead.
architect.
Okay.
Kenneth Johnson,
Swear to tell the
architect.
truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
Yes.
Okay.
Trevor Henry.
Okay, Trevor, you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Let's, Phil, put that on the record.
Yes, sir. This is case
Okay, read it in there.
MI 2023-001-587. I'm sorry, forgive me. I'm giving you the wrong number. MI 2023-001-458 for the property located at 4408 Lancaster Avenue.
That's correct.
For the record, I'm going to be recusing myself.
Okay, Aim. No problem. So you're gonna have Ted Argus and myself will determine what's going on in this case. Tom, want to fill us in a little bit?
So I could probably shine a little light into this case, and then, and forgive me if I pronounce it wrong, the opposing counsel for the appellant, Mr. Saverin. So this case basically spells or is a underpinning case between the two properties of 4406 and 4408 Lancaster Avenue. In preparation for a hearing that was to occur earlier this month, we received documentation, which in that documentation packet or email, there was an engineer's report from a Mr. Henry. That report has been sent over to the area inspector, and I anticipate that this case or this violation will be marked complied by the area inspector no later or as soon as tomorrow morning. So what I'm proposing to the board is that this case be continued for 80 days or for 30 days. The reason for that is that with the likelihood that this case will be marked complied as early as tomorrow, but our Atlas system does not catch up. And what I'm going to ask Mr. Saverin to do is to check Atlas within a few days. If this case is marked complied, to withdraw his appeal to the BBS in that they will essentially the case will be marked as complied. If it isn't and there is an issue, then we can come back in 30 days and represent what the problem is. But I don't anticipate that. I anticipate the case being marked complied, and my understanding is that the neighboring property is working on getting the documentation for the repair of their property. With that said, I'll rest.
Okay, Mr. Saverin, you good with that?
Yes, as long as I'm permitted to alert Mr. McSherry, if in fact within, let's say, a week, the violation is not marked complied?
Sure, that's not a
Okay.
problem. Right,
Okay.
Ryan?
Yep, yeah, just let me know as well as let, board administration,
Okay,
CC all of us on the
good.
email, yes.
So we'll
Okay.
continue this case for 30 days and we'll go from there. If everything's complied with, there's no need to come back. Right, Tom?
That's what I'm proposing, yes.
Okay, fine. We're good with it. All
Okay,
right, guys, good luck.
All right,
thank
All
you.
right.
thank you.
All right, good job.
We're off the record?
Yeah, we're off the record. Okay, good. All right. I'm Wayne Miller, board member.
Amy Rivera, board member.
Ted Agus, board member.
Ryan McSherry, board counsel.
Philip Motto, Boards Administration.
Jay Scoria, Department of License and Inspections.
Thomas Rybakowski, City of Philadelphia, License and Inspections.
Okay, anyone's going to testify in this case, and I want an individual response. We'll take 1,700 with Mr. Miller. Could you please raise your right hand? Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth? Mr. Miller?
Oh, I'm not going to testify, Mr. Chairman.
Okay,
No,
I've had communications with Mr. Miller. I think I can take it from there.
okay, no problem.
I'll
Okay. Miss Lynn, is Miss Lynn going to testify? Okay, could you swear?
Hi.
Okay,
Linda
swear to
Lynn,
tell the truth, the
Richardson.
whole truth, nothing but the truth, respond to me? Okay,
Yes.
all right, Phil, put it in the record.
The cases number 1 and 2. Case number 1 is MI 2023-002109 for the property located at 1700 Annin Street, ANNIN. Case number 2
Okay,
is MI 2023-002030 for the property located at 1708 Annin Street.
okay, Tom, could you tell us a little bit about this case?
So I will share my screen, and in the process
Okay.
of sharing my screen, I will let you know what's going on with this case. This
Thank you.
case involves the properties at 1700 and 1708 Annin Street. It is in conjunction with a shared or party wall. If everybody can see my screen.
We can see it, Tom.
The shared, can you see it?
Yes,
Okay, you can see that there's a fracture that's opening up between the remnants of a wall at the
Yes.
property. Left-hand side is the new construction of 1700, and this property here is 1708. You can
Okay.
see that the fracturing of the wall is moving apart, and it needs to be repaired, removed, however it is, by the responsible parties. It is my understanding in speaking to the representation for 1700 Annin is that they have assumed the responsibility of making the repair and have had communications with the owner of 1708, Miss Lynn, who is also here at today's hearing. I am happy to report that there is a permit that is under review with the department. So with a permit under review and both parties apparently working together, the department sees that there is no action by the board in that both parties are acting together. I would either attend to the board that there's no action or that a make safe permit be issued within 60 days, but I'll leave that up to the board.
okay. My question for people involved, are you working things out?
Yes, however, I believe that the shared wall is the responsibility of 1700 Annin Street because this came about with a demolition to that side of the property. So the responsibility lays on the other party. I myself at 1708 should not assume responsibility or have this violation. We are working together since there will be construction and items to work together on getting resolved.
Okay.
So
Mr.
Mr.
Chairman,
Miller?
yeah, Mr. Chairman, may it please the board, without waiver of any rights, my clients agreed to fix the problem. So my client, the permitting process was very difficult. My client has we think satisfied all the requisites of L&I for this make safe permit. And as soon as the permit's issued, this problem will be resolved. I just don't want to respond to Ms. Lynn's comments because it's just not productive, except to say that the problem is being solved.
Yeah, ultimately, I don't believe I should assume financial responsibility, and the violation should not be present on the 1708 Annan property.
So in response to the financial question, the department's not here to assume financial responsibility on how that is done. That would have to be between property owner and property owner. That can be determined later on. Our main objective is to make sure that the remnants of this wall doesn't fall. Once that's taken care of, that can be
Look at it worked out.
that can be litigated between
Litigated,
both
whatever.
parties. But however that's not for the rendering for this board. But
Right.
like I said, we can do one of two things. We have a permit that's in the system and is under review. So we can render a action of no action by the board in that there's already a permit, or we can just simply make the variance for 60 days to get the permit. That's it. I rest.
Okay, evidently, they do have the permit, right?
It has not been issued. It is under review.
Why is it so difficult to get the permit?
Because as of January, the department issued requirements for adjoining properties to sign, knowing that work is going on at the property and that their property could be affected. So there are requirements that other parties be involved in supplying documentation. In this case, it's a little bit that we have both parties are talking, but if you don't have two parties talking, then it becomes difficult to get all parties acting together.
When will they have the permit to do the work?
It is still under review. I do not have an exact date when that permit would be issued. That is the plans examiner. That's why I'm saying we can push this out for 60 days to have the permit issued.
Do you know when it was
Okay.
submitted?
I didn't hear you.
The permit was entered in our system on March 3rd. My understanding.
Wow.
Yeah, my understanding is that there was a request for additional information. That additional information was submitted, and now it is back in the hands of our examiner. But in speaking with Mr. Miller, it looks like they came back and gave more information within the last couple of days.
We'll give them 60 days. If you get the permit prior to that, fine. If not, you have 60. Well, yeah, I guess you have to come back in 60 days. So are we going to continue this?
No, we're giving them 60 days to get a permit.
My
Okay, well,
anticipation is 60
evidently they
days to
haven't
get
got
the
the
permit.
permit for the last month, so,
Right.
you know, it could, I don't know how long it's gonna take to get that permit. Chase, do you have any idea what goes on with the permits? Would it take 2 months?
I'm looking at the one application. It looks like the initial review was completed on April 13th. But I don't know if this is the correct permit. It's RP 2023-2211. It was submitted by Jason Tett, TBC LLC. I don't know if that's the correct, but that's the one on 1700 Adams Street.
He is the contractor. I can't speak to the permit number, but
Okay.
here's what I would respectfully request. I believe that we've done everything we have to secure a permit, and I really expect that permit will issue in the next couple of days. The job is not a big job. My client has committed to doing it, and it will be done. But if we don't get a permit, it's not going to be for a lack of our effort. And therefore, what I would request is that you relist this for status in 60 days, not because we've done all that we're supposed to do to get that permit. So hopefully by then it's moot, because we will have received the permit, we will have done the work, and we can just write a letter and it'll be a moot complied circumstance. But if we need your help with I don't want to lose that opportunity to come back to you and say, these are the things we submitted and I still hasn't given us a permit. So it was a make safe permit that, and the first, and I thought those are issued in a couple of days, but it sounds like it was applied for March 3rd and then comments were provided on April 13th.
No, it was created on March 3rd, but it wasn't submitted completely until March 21st. That's what it looks like.
Okay.
And they didn't pay for the application until April 10th. So it was your contractor that didn't process it correctly.
All right. Well, if the board would please relist it for status in 60 days or for hearing in 60 days, hopefully it's moot complied by then.
Yes, and Mr. Miller, I just want to add, the last piece of documentation, I believe, was sent to me on Monday. I signed it as acknowledgement that Jason will be doing work on the property. So that was submitted to Jason and I believe the permit team or whoever he's working with. That was submitted yesterday. So, but I believe that is the last piece to get that permit.
Okay. Okay.
Great.
One other question, Jace. Is everything in that they need to have in?
I wouldn't know until I actually review the application myself, but I'll put that on the top of my to-do list and work with the examiner. But it looks like I'm actually contacting the examiner now to discuss what the outstanding issues are. So I will definitely, Andrew and Linda, you have my contact information. It's my first name dot my last name, jace.scaria@phila.gov, and you can follow up with me directly.
Will
Thank
do.
you.
I don't have any problem with anything with it. If you want to give them 60 days, it just goes away anyway. What's the difference? You know what I mean? Amy, you have a problem with that?
I think if we just give them 60 days to get the permit, they can always call for an executive session with us.
Yeah, they don't even have to.
Like, I don't think it needs to be continued. I think we should just give you 60 days.
All right, we'll do an executive session. We get the permit. We're doing the work. Just call us. It's done.
And we
Ed, you okay with that?
and we typically ask for 60 days or 30 days, whatever it is, to apply for a permit. In this case, they've already applied.
They've already applied. Yeah.
Moot.
The-
They've already
the
applied
problem
with,
is-
you know.
Right. I mean, the problem is, I think that I'm sorry to take so much time, but I'd rather not have a sword hanging over my head if my client's already done what needs to be done. So
There's no sword hanging over your head. That ain't the case. If it's not done in 60 days, come back. Okay, if it's done in 60 days, let us know it's done. End of story.
thank you.
Okay? Ted, you good? Amy, you good?
Yes.
We're all good. Good luck, guys.
Thank you very
All
much.
right.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'm good. Bye-bye.
Thank
All
you.
right, guys. Thank you. All right. All right. Get those two
Next
done.
case is 5502 West Gerard Avenue. I just checked my email and Ms. Bender sent me something, so I forwarded it to everyone, some documents, so just so you have them to look
And
at.
what's that for?
5502 West Gerard Avenue, the next case.
Okay. Isn't 4345 next?
No, I sent an updated schedule this morning and added a case.
Okay, all right.
Okay,
Is Gerard
Okay.
Avenue here?
yes.
Okay, all right. Let
You
me
can
pull my
ask
stuff
Pat.
up.
You can ask Pat for the new schedule. I just sent it like 11:30.
Hey, Patty. Whatever Debbie sent, can you get it for me, please? Thank you. All right.
Okay, so, you have two people here, Miss Bender? No, Just one, just you?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
I didn't hear that. What is only one person here?
Just me today, yes.
Okay, no problem. You're good. Okay, so we're good with that.
Yeah.
All right. Give me 1 second, please. Did everybody pull up that stuff for Gerard Avenue?
I'm reading it now.
Okay. Pat?
I don't think it was sent to me. I haven't received anything.
I can forward it to you if you like.
Okay.
Or should
Thank
I let Bill do that? Bill, why don't you forward it to him? That's more appropriate.
I just sent it to you now, Jason. And I
Thank
sent it to Ryan. I sent it to you too, Ryan, right?
Yes, I received it.
Okay, all right. That's fine.
We don't have the actual refusal though.
It's a violation.
This is a violation.
So
Oh,
in the,
yeah.
so in the updated email I sent this morning, late this morning, had the violation attached.
Okay,
So with the new schedule. So I attached the violation first and then the new schedule with the added case. But there
Tom, are you
wasn't any other
familiar-
way for me to do it.
Tom, are you familiar with this? You can walk us through.
Yes.
Thanks.
Should I pause the recording at this juncture?
I think we're gonna start the case in a few, aren't we?
Wayne, are you there?
Wayne went to go get the papers.
I'm sorry, did someone ask me a question?
No, Mr. Kelly.
No.
Thank you. I was distracted for a second, I apologize.
What's up?
Okay, I got it. All right. Everybody ready? Is
Yes.
everybody ready?
Yes.
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 Okay. All right, I'm Wayne Miller, board member.
Amy Rivera, board member.
Ted August, board member.
Brian McSherry, Board Counsel.
Deborah Richardson, Boards Administration.
Philip Motto, Boards Administration.
Jay Scoria, Department of License and Inspections.
Thomas Rabikowski, City of Philadelphia, License and Inspections.
Okay, Ms. Bender, if you're the only one going to be testifying, please raise your right hand. Swear to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth. Respond.
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. Please respond.
Yes.
Okay, Phil, put it into the record.
Yes, sir. This is case number 4 on today's list, MI 2023-001-587, with a property located at 5502 West Girard Avenue.
Okay. Tom, you want to tell us a little bit about this?
So the property was declared eminently dangerous following an inspection in late January, with a notice being mailed out to the address for the owner. at 25 South 19th Street, second floor, Philadelphia, PA 19103, declaring the property as eminently dangerous. That notice was dated January 27th of 2023. The conditions were sidewall bulged and fractured and interior partially collapsed. What brings us to today's hearing is that a appeal or a filing was sent to the board. It is dated March 1st of 2023 with the additional information or with the appeal information of this property has an unsafe violation but is not eminently dangerous. We would like extra time to obtain engineer's report and plans to make safe building. With that said, I will share my screen and it's very hard to show a bulged wall on a 2D computer screen, but we have the side wall of the property that appears to have a slight bulge in the facade. And moments ago, we received documentation from the appellant that as of today, they have engaged the services of what appears to be a general contractor. Mike, I have one question after I share my photos, but I'll just share the screen right now so that we can go and get a rest of the property at 5502 West Girard Avenue. This is the property here. This is the property being posted. This is a photograph of the posting, 5502 West Girard. I apologize for the blurriness. But this is the sidewall of the property. Like I said, it's very hard to tell a bulge in a sidewall of the property, but this is a two-story masonry structure. And our fear is that if we lose this sidewall, it gives the indications that this wall is likely a load-bearing wall and we could lose the structure if we lost.
Tom, I got a question. When I'm looking at this, is it on the right-hand side or the left-hand side? What building?
Left-hand side.
Okay.
And then this is the semblance of what we could see on the interior of the property. It does appear to have a lot of structural distress. And like I said, we just received documentation this morning, and that's the rear of the property.
Have you been inside?
No, we have not been inside. We can only see from the exterior and the remnants of that. What we are asking in the notice is that a design professional engineer survey the property and come up with a repair plan by way of a make safe permit. I'm proposing to the board that that a variance be granted for 30 days to get a make safe permit. As we just received documentation this morning or this afternoon, in ways that the appellant has engaged the services of a general contractor, and there is verbiage on that documentation that an engineer will be obtained. Like I said, then I would be looking for 30 days. My only question is, this violation goes from January 25th of this year, and it looks like the contract was just signed today, with a property being declared that way. Time is of the essence, and that's why we're petitioning for 30 days. With that, I'll rest.
All right, good. Mrs. Bender, you want to tell us your part of the story?
Sure. 30 days to get a permit sounds great. We've been kind of dealing with some issues with having some older buildings and really wanting to get them repaired and usable structures to be homes for the city. And we think it's really important. So we had previously been working with a different engineer and contractor. However, over the last couple months, we've built a relationship with BBG, which is the contractor we have an agreement with now. They are very ready to begin work right away. So I'm going to make it my duty to ensure that that gets completed as soon as possible.
That's great. You got 30 days. Well, you got the permit. So when you get the permit, as you got the permit, continue till you're finished, till it's made safe.
Yes, sir.
Wait, I have questions. Tom, it says in Atlas that the case is closed. and that the inspections are passed.
Hmm.
And I'm just curious, it looks like, Stephanie, your company has owned the building since 2016?
Yeah.
And it's been in this condition since 2016?
I've only been working for the company for 2 years. So, but I believe that it has been owned since 2016. I think it was a sheriff's sale property.
So, Ms. Rivera, so basically what it is there are two cases that were created on January 26th. The department switched to a mobile app. And sometimes when you have the mobile app, you can do a double entry. So it looks like there was a case that was written and then closed the same day, and then this case was created at the same time.
Okay, I see, now I see it down lower that there's another case that's still open.
Yes.
Okay, fine. Ms. Bender, 30 days to get it done, or, well, you got your permit, start working on it till you're.
We'll get it
make
done as
safe.
soon
No, they do not have a permit yet.
Right.
Oh, you have a contractor, okay.
We have
All
a
right, you got 30 days
contractor.
to get a
We're gonna be
permit.
getting the permit as soon as possible. Yes, sir.
Okay, good deal, 30 days. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. Okay.
Okay, we can go off the record now.
Yep.
Okay, and I'm bringing them in now. 2
Okay.
people.
Hey Wayne, how you doing?
Good times. Hey, make it out, pal.
Doing great.
Good.
I thought there were 2 people. We're
Yeah,
waiting
Kurt
for the,
Wall.
Another one's joining now.
okay, yes, they're in, okay.
Okay, there's just 2 people, Deb?
Yes, Wayne,
Okay, all right. Everybody connected?
yes, seems as
All right.
so.
Okay, all right, guys, we're gonna get started. All right, I'm Wayne Miller, board member.
Amy Rivera, board member.
Ed Agus, board member.
John
Sherry,
Di-
board counsel. Oh, sorry, John.
That's all right. John Dimes Fire Code.
Ionos Kamara.
No, hold on, we'll get the. one second.
Ryan,
Oh, Ryan McSherry, board counsel.
Deborah Richardson, Boards Administration,
Philip Motto, Boards Administration.
Jay Scoria, Department of License and Inspections.
Okay, whoever's gonna testify in the case, I will swear you in individually, okay? So, is anybody a lawyer? Okay, so we don't have to swear lawyers in, so, okay? So I guess you're the owner of the property, could you please raise your right hand? Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, respond,
I swear
okay,
to say the truth.
all
and
right.
the truth.
Good, Phil, put it into the record.
Yes, sir. This is case number 5 on today's list. MI 2023-001-776 for the property located at 4345 Paul Street.
4345 Paul Street, okay. All right, whoever's going to explain the case, go ahead.
Thank you very much. Members of the board, my name is Justin Crick. I am counsel for the owner, Mr. Kimura, and we are here today on an appeal for the refusal issued in response to the occupancy of the building, which required, due to the perceived change in occupancy, there is a requirement triggered for sprinklering of the property. The refusal was appealed because we believe that it shouldn't be applied, that the property should maintain a legacy status for its use, and therefore not require the upgrade in accordance with the updated fire code. The property has been in use, and I'm just keeping an eye on some notes here, by prior owners in this manner since at least 1988. And the owner, prior to owning the property, lived at this property from 1998 to 2003, and can testify that during that time even that 5 units were filled when he was a tenant. In 2003, he and his family moved down the block, about 2 houses down, and had lived there for quite some time and still. And then in 2012, having known the owners of this property, the subject property, for some time, and having previously been tenants, the owner had an opportunity to buy the property from them, and so it was a lay transaction without any professionals. It was an arm's length but friendly transaction where the deed was transferred and that's how it went. So in 2012, the current owner buys the property and continues to operate it in this manner, as some of the photos that I'll show you will demonstrate. It is allowed to be, we're not questioning whether it's allowed to be a multifamily residence, and it currently houses 5 units. But we're just trying to demonstrate that it's been that way for decades, and therefore should be legacy, but that it also contains sufficient life safety systems in the form of the alarm system with required certifications, pull stations, and tie into the panel and the electric.
Are they required anyway?
What's that?
Are they required anyway?
I believe.
Yeah.
I believe that. We are required to have the pull stations and so forth, and as well as fire rated doors. So what somewhat sparked this is that the owner is attempting to do what we believe are cosmetic renovations to the inside, no structural changes to anything, really just paint, carpet sort of situations, 1 unit at a time here and there. So there's ins and outs of parties, and then with that, just bring the property a little bit, take it up from a little bit shabbier, but nothing that would, and if it does later, that's a different story. But nothing in the proposed intended use or improvement to the property that should trigger any additional building code requirements. So. Again, I will introduce or show you some documentation that will help give some character to this presentation, but the owner will also testify and tell you about his experience there. What we have, very simply and bluntly, is an owner who, to the best of his knowledge, believed that the property was in proper use, transferred to him in a proper use. And we recognize that we cannot find anything in the city's archives, related to the filing of a certificate of occupancy. But given the fact that there have been so many people there for this long, we believe that it either is legacied or there was something on file at some point. If I may share my screen, just to.
Hey, Jace, what was it the house originally? What occupancy?
So that was the issue. There was no permit history found for that property, but it's most likely a single family dwelling from what it looks like. But I am looking into the history now, but there's actually nothing under 4345 Paul Street. That's the address, correct? Is there any other address?
Yeah, it's 4345 Paul Street.
So, are there any other addresses that Justin? Are there any other addresses that could be associated with the structure?
Yeah, so 4343-45 may come up that way, because it is this double wide area. If I can come to this this atlas view, you'll see that it's these two, at which one of which is the drive aisle kind of vacant lot area.
Is it 2 houses together?
No, it's 2 lots. Here, let me go to this picture. It's a little bit closer.
I'm not seeing any of your
I'm not
pictures.
seeing it either.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Are you
No
seeing
problem,
anything on the
guys.
screen?
See a line down the center of the screen, that's all.
Okay, let's back up here for a second. Let me try to do that. I apologize.
I also notice there's no rental license on file.
I have respectfully have discussed with the owner. That is the case. There's not much explanation for it other than the owner is attempting to correct any prior deficiencies in what has been done at the property. So
It's been actively rented since he bought it in 2012.
he has rented it. There hasn't always been a full 5 units in terms of where certain units were being cosmetically fixed or certain transient vacancies here and there. But the answer is yes. And I recognize and we've discussed what that means. But as far as dealing with the fire code and the idea of the continuous use, whether it have been, we already know that there's no record of the CO, despite the owner's belief that the prior owner certainly did something for it, but we recognize the lack of the rental and acknowledge it.
Do you know when the building was built?
Originally built, unfortunately, I did not dig the history up for the original construction, but I can show you just for purposes of being, a little more clarity. You'll see that it's kind of segmented, and it has this L shape. This rear part is a garage attached to the structure, and then we have a larger drive aisle. A little bit better of this will show you that we have a fair, and it's only this half. This side of the building is 47. So we have this side, which contains units, and it's kind of broken down as the plans will show shortly. But from the street, you have this area, which in the past, this was used as a store at one point. And then we have the driveway with the fence in area. But from plan wise, this is basement, but units are broken down in that the frontage on street is here. We have an A and a B in the first floor, 2 units. And and by the way, they all have, you have an entrance here and a separate entrance here for this unit. So you're kind of, we comply, to my knowledge, with all egress distances and so forth. It's not that there's anything that's too far away or too crowded in that sense. The second floor also has 2 units. You have a 1-bedroom here and a 1-bedroom on the second. And then third floor is its own unit itself.
Just to inform the board, I looked into the history under 4343 Paul Street. It looks like it was a 2-family dwelling throughout the structure. Then it was trying to be converted via only a zoning permit, but there was no statement of occupancy for documenting the R2 occupancy. So, usually you have, if the owner has a copy of the statement of occupancy, converting it to, a 3-family dwelling or more, that's why the examiner called it a conversion from an R3 occupancy to an R2 occupancy. I only saw zoning permits on the file. I haven't seen anything else other than that.
And I understand that part of it, and I think that and I'm dealing with it on a separate case, unrelated, but the idea of either a professional at the time or even just a layperson having failed to complete the permitting process by closing it out and filing that last bit, that CO, that can that then puts everything into action with the use that was required. So while there may be the deficiency and that not on the record, we either think that it's an assumption that it was either there and it's not anymore, and the expediter that filed it made that assumption. But again, given some of the information I'd like to present that shows this continued use for the purposes of application of the fire code. I'm not saying that this, with respect to other agencies in the city might not need some attention. But with respect to the fire code in this appeal, we believe that the use has been continuous enough to overcome that need to, quote unquote, change of use to trigger that the updated fire. And again, that there's sufficient safety provisions there at the moment. I'll make it brief because I understand that's really the gist of it, but I want to just show you what information we have and then let my client either adopt my testimony or maybe answer some questions that the board may have. So ownership wise, just for purposes of understanding who we bought it from, it was this Mary McLean, who had been a concurrent owner with Marcelli Pasquale, who was very close with the owner now. They had a landlord-tenant relationship, and the owner felt comfortable when buying it that he was buying what the owner had always depicted the property to be to him as a tenant and then as a friendly neighbor who's seen the property occupied this way for many times. Mr. Pasquale passed away, and that's why the deed is only from one party. So the property had been, it was parsed out in terms of electric and the fire panel here. There is currently one gas, but as you can see, there had been, at least it's tied to one at the moment, just to service. Maybe I think PGW had that requirement, but you can see that it had at one point separated all of them. It's still, again, separate units, but 1 meter billed separately. Each unit contains its own sub panel per code. This is the general control panel for the fire, and just some indications of what is in compliance. Your pull station exemplar and lighted exit sign. We have sirens and strobes and detectors in common areas and in units, and we have fire doors at every location. Fire rated doors where necessary. We have a couple of statements, and the timing of these statements may not be as great as we'd want them, but these are some of the people that from the history of it, that the owner lived next to and nearby and with for many years, who indicated that he lived in the second floor rear, this person as a second floor rear apartment for a 5-year period. And then we have this husband and wife who indicated that they've lived in the second floor front apartment for quite some time also, and just indicating that the second floor, basically at all times, the property had been partitioned in this way. Further, they provided us with expired driver's licenses showing second floor of the property, and even checks with their address on it showing that they paid energy bills. Now, this is just one tenant, but these are the people that the owner had maintained certain relationships with that were prepared to show us or testify for us, mailed to their address. And then if it were necessary, I know it's I didn't want to put it in here necessarily, but we have a former owner's tax return that shows that they've described the property as multifamily. Nevertheless, if the board has questions of Mr. Kimura, or if you'd be willing to hear his version of why we're here, we'd be happy to open it up to any questions.
So when you bought the property, it was an R2, it had 3 units in it?
No, my understanding, and Johnny, did you hear that question?
Very bad. There's a very bad connection. Already dropping like 5 times and reconnected.
Okay.
Sorry, it's a very bad connection. I don't know why.
When he bought it, there was 5 units?
Yes. When he bought it, when he lived
Yes.
there.
I lived there for 5 years. Those 5 units.
Okay.
Do we want to do an executive?
Yeah, I
session?
think we're the caucus.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I may, I understand that it's a little less formal. Do you need, can I have my client, should he adopt my testimony, or are you okay with my statements as they were made?
We're okay with your statements.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, so you'll let us know.
Yeah, we're gonna put you into
Wait,
We're going into a breakout room for a few minutes.
Okay.
you just stay on.
You can
Very
stay
good,
on.
thank you.
Don't go anywhere.
All right.
We are off the record.
Are we off the record or still on the record?
You're off the record till we come back. Okay. What you showed us is generally what we give a variance for. Those 5 meters or 6 meters down there, that shows it that you have had that for a while and it's been in place, and we give variance. We'll give a variance on that. But Jace, I have another issue before granting anything. We want to know if we give them 60 days to get the rental license as a proviso. Is there any, and if they don't, is there anything for the city to do? Is that okay for us to do that?
I don't know how I could enforce it though. I guess what could happen is they can get the rent. They can only get the rental license once they get the zoning. They already obtained the zoning permit, but they have to get the building permit, the CO. So the only way they get the CO is if they get the variance from you guys.
Okay,
So, you know, it's gonna become kind of hard to put that as a proviso because you have to issue the CO to get the rental license.
so
And
there's two
businesses-
things we can do. Either we can't do that, so we would have to deny till they deny the variance until they had received a rental license, then come back.
No, Jason's saying you can't do that.
You can't do that. So the first step is to get the zoning, which they already obtained. The second
Okay.
step is to get the certificate of occupancy. And then the third step is to get the rental license. You cannot get the rental license until you do the first two steps.
Yeah, and
Jason, and those be put in their file to follow up on it?
Uh-huh.
I mean, we can try, but I don't know who would enforce it though. Like you would want a violation or
It
something
would be
like
a
that.
yeah, it would be a violation, you know, somebody would be verifying.
Yeah, it's the thing is that, you know, everyone's, my thing is that there's a violation there. And now I'm going to give a variance with a violation. I don't know if that's even legal to do.
There's not a
Okay,
violation. at this point.
because under the city ordinance, it says, I think it says that you can do that, but besides that, we want the individual to have a rental license. Okay, so we're in a sort of a catch-22. He can't get the certificate of occupancy and all that stuff to get the rental license unless we give him the variance.
I understand the quandary. And in other spheres, you have things like community benefits agreements or other things that an owner can give to pledge that cooperation. I can tell you that it was a pretty hefty discussion with my client about bringing things into compliance, and that's entirely the intention of my representation. I understand that that's not necessarily all the board needs. We would appreciate, and understand that if we were to be granted this variance, that L&I would be the enforcement arm of this and could, check in and whatnot. I understand there's not necessarily a follow-up plan in place in the system to allow that specifically to happen, but I am also prepared to tell the board that I would report back in X amount of days to this board with a status update of where this is at. I do believe that if a CO is granted, I think 60 days should be more than enough time. I will say that if not, you'll know exactly where in the process and what's holding it up. But that I can offer.
Okay, fair enough. All right, Aim?
I think I mean, you can also reference as a proviso rental license to be obtained after CO is issued, and then we'll put that in the permit language as well. And we'll make sure that the inspector follows up that way, but I don't see how I can place a hold in the system, to be honest with you.
Okay, all right.
I respect that.
All right, you got your variance and you'll let us know within 60 days, one way or the other.
I certainly will. Thank you very much for your time.
All right, guys.
Wish you
All right,
well.
let's get that done.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, we can go off the record.
Okay, off the record.